All right, guys, let's get back into it. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to take a first look at some of our missions, make a little bit of money. We're just going to do basic. We're going to go to the hack shop. We're going to look through how to find the proper exploit that we need. We're going to do some of the basic mission, get them done. We will get a little more in depth in future episodes about custom tools and multi-tools and all kinds of different custom scripting stuff. But for this one, we're going to keep it simple. We're going to go into the hack shop. We're going to take on a simple mission, and we're just going to walk through the basic steps of normally getting it done. So let's jump in. We're going to go to our browser. We're going to go to our sketchy website. We're going to go to our jobs, and we're going to look. We got some different reputations, so we're just going to take one that has reputation 0. Let's do academic changes. So a client wants to change some grades in his academic record. It is necessary that you infiltrate in the network to modify some data. So somebody's failing, and yeah, their parents probably hired us to have their son or daughter pass their class. So let's help them out. It's Christmas time. All right, so client wants to change some grades in his academic record. The remote IP of the victim is so-and-so. The LAN address for the database located is so-and-so. So if you cannot directly access, you can try to access through a teacher's computer in the local network. The record to modify belongs to Andre Inioni. Client wants to modify his math to increase the academic qualification by at least 1 point. So let's first start off. We'll grab our IP. We'll open our terminal, and we will run our trusty nmap. I don't have it installed. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in our bin folder. Now we can run nmap on our sketchy address again. Control Shift C, Control Shift V, copies and pastes in the terminal. All right, so running our nmap, we see that we have, it looks like only one computer because the LAN address is all the same. So we have one computer that has different services running on it. We got SMTP, we got 2 SQL databases, and then we got a port 80 HTTP. So you know what, let's just start with the first one and work down. We got an SMTP version 1.1.6. So if we go back to our sketchy website, go to our exploits tab. Now we're going to look at our SMTP version 1.1.6. Now it's going to give us all the current known exploits for this version of the service. So we want to, first of all, find something if it can give us a root shell. That's first and foremost. So let's see what we can do. This one here, this gives us non-root user, but it's got 1 million requirements. Let's see if there's something better. Gives us a shell, gives us root if there's a guest user logged into the computer. Okay. There's other ones here that can grant access to the file. Let's see here. Contents of mail. Grant access to the file. So this prints the contents of the password file if there's a user folder in the root, which is a very high possibility that there will be. So you know what I'm going to do for this one? I'm going to grab the source code version. Actually, you know what? We're not going to do that yet. Let's just do what we got to do. We got a ticket, coupon. Let's buy it. Let's save this in downloads, new folder. Let's call this exploits. just to keep things simple. And we'll just leave it as SMTP 16 PSSWD. I like to name it just so if I got to use it again, I know what it is, because they give them all these kind of weird names. So let's save that. Let's run this and see what happens. So if let's go into that directory. Was it? Yeah. See this change directory. You see didn't text that one. And we got SMTP 6PS. Now, if you don't know how to run it, we're just going to use it like this and hit enter, and now it's going to tell us the usage. So it wants us to type in the program name, the IP address, and then the port number we're going to run it on. So we're going to do SMTP 116 PSSWD. Now the IP address is right here. This one here that they gave us. If you go to your mail, you can copy it. And then again, Control Shift V. And then the port number it's on is port 25. So let's run port 25 and hit enter. So they have their permissions set on that folder that we are not able to access it. Which goes to show you in our last episode why we set our permissions the way we do. Because now here's somebody trying to get in from an other or a guest user is not able to access that folder and gets permissions denied, which is great. Now let's keep going and take a look. Let's take a look now onto our databases and see if there's anything. So these right here, these students and employees, they're databases, which are actually SQL databases. So if we do 1.6.0, and we might be able to use some of these other ones, but I want to keep it simple at first here. So first of all, we're going to see, is there any shells? Here's a shell. Any user logged in? Well, it's going to give us a guest if there's the init.so library is greater than or equal to 1.0.8. This is going to give us a non-root user if there's any user logged in the computer. And this will give us a guest if the init.so is greater than 1.2.2 and there's a user folder in the root of the computer, which probably there is. So if we could do something like this, we could possibly, get logged in as a root. And then since this one here is a guest user, I guess it's any user logged in the computer will then give us a non-root user. So we could possibly get logged in as a guest. And once we're logged in as a guest, now we could run this one and get logged in as a non-root user. That's a possibility, but let's take a look at what else is here. Access to the password. That's a guest. Okay, so this one here will print etc and the contents as a non-root user if there's one user registered on the computer, which is another possibility. So you know what? Let's run this one. Let's buy this. Exploits. I'm going to call this one SQL160. Yes, SWD. I'm going to run SQL. 60 PSSWD on that IP address on port 3306. So, all right. So right off the bat here, this now gives us a root user and a user's name. So if we can get a shell, can we get a shell as a guest? We could possibly get a guest shell with this one. Let's run it and see. Call this SQL160 guest. So I'm going to go SQL160 guest on there on 3306. All right, so now we do have guest access on this computer, which we might be able to do something. But what I want to do is, now that we have this, what we can do is we can copy this. I'm going to make a notepad. I'm going to put that in there and save this as password. And I'll just save that in our folder here. So what I'll do is I'm going to do Decipher password. So now we're running a Decipher. We're going to get the root password. And now what we can do is we can escalate to root by doing sudo-s. It's going to ask us for our password, and we should have root access to the computer, where we can now change the grade and we can remove the log file. Everything's just a bit of a puzzle, It's going to be a little bit easier once we start making our multi-tools and stuff, but this is just a basic sort of get your mind thinking of different ways that you can get in. It's all about being creative. Everyone's going to be a little bit different. I'm almost done here. Right, so our root password is Booger. So let's just do Booger. Now, when that terminal turns like that, we got root access. And we can just do, if you want to run your file explorer just to make things easier, sure. So now we got this student viewer. And here we go, we got student records. So if we go to browse, oh yeah, it doesn't like that. Stuff. We're gonna go to our email. We got Andre. And we're gonna look for Andre. There's Andre. His math is 7.7. It says by at least 1 point. You know what? Let's just do 9.7 and save. Now we can just reply to this email and say done. And you're satisfied with the job. The income's been sent to your account. So now that that's done, we can close the student viewer. But what I'm going to do is, first of all, we're going to go back to our root here. We're going to go to the VAR folder in our system log. We're going to take a look at this. So connection established on port 25, but nothing came out of it. Connection established on 36, nothing came out of it. Now, this connection we actually established on 3306, but then it shows that there's a shell obtained. So this shell obtained, we actually want to delete that. We don't want to delete these because when we close out of here now, it's going to say that the connection was disconnected. So if somebody sees a disconnection without a connection established, that's going to look a little bit weird. I don't care if they see a connection established and disconnected. It is the shell obtained that we want to get rid of. So leave these as is and just remove any shell obtained. So we can actually do that, and and that'll satisfy that mission. Now you can do something like, you can install a FTP server on there, and you can have ongoing access to that and whatever. Take a look deeper into the network and whatever. But for our basic mission, getting it done, that's what needed to be done. So our customer's satisfied, the records changed, our tracks are covered, and we sort of went through the how to think about getting into the system. So you can either run an exploit that's going to give you root access. You can look at the if you weren't able to get, let's say, the password file like we got, you can maybe get into the home folder and find the user's name, and from there you can do a who is and find the administrator's email address, and you can send them some social engineering where you'd be able to now get a password for a user and find a way to escalate from there. But there's all kinds of ways. So each one, that's what's really unique about this game. Everything is its own puzzle. So that's just one example. So take this, try a couple different ones. There's credentials needed, there's police changes, there's the academic changes, there's all kinds of little beginner missions. Try it. If you have any questions, put it down in the comments. If this is helping you at all, if there's anything you want to see, put it in the comments. Also shoot me a follow and a subscribe, because that's going to help me grow. I'm new to this YouTube thing, so I'm trying my best. I'm having fun. If it's helping you at all, throw me a subscribe. I appreciate it, and we'll see you in our next video.